We have three readings today, two of which are very complex and rather lengthy. So since this is a noon hour liturgy and we want people to be able to go on with their days, we're going to set those aside for today, other than maybe a little bit of brief mention. And we'll focus on a rather short gospel reading. But just because it's short doesn't mean it's not important. Jesus is talking, and he's talking about how we respond to people who come into our orbit, come into our circle of friends, our circle of life, as it were, and how we should respond to them. And over the last few weeks, there have been quite a few of the readings that have focused on the idea of hospitality. The promise made to Abraham and Sarah that they will have a child together is done in the context of three strangers coming by and Abraham offering them hospitality. Going out of his way, actually. He throws them a bit of a party when they show up. And as I said a couple of weeks ago at St. Bartholomew's, that's one kind of hospitality, and it's a good part of hospitality, the enjoyment of feasting together. But here we have another example of hospitality, and particularly so in the last verse, where Jesus says, if you even offer a cup of cold water, you will not lose your reward. That's a pretty simple form of hospitality. But imagine if you're in a country where the temperatures get really hot, or even the temperatures we've had here in Winnipeg over the last couple of weeks. A cup of cold water can make a big difference in a person's life. And it also, maybe not directly, but picks up a little bit of theme that you hear from Jesus. That doing small things matters. You may not have a great deal to offer, but when you offer something in love, that is a great offering. And what makes it great is not the content, but the mindset and the way the heart is organized and ordered in that giving. Small things done with great love. And Jesus says in this gospel reading, when you do that, you're not only welcoming one who's been sent, you're welcoming the one who sent them. You're welcoming into the presence, into your space, not only the person that has been sent there, but the God who has sent them. And it's all by a simple little act. Hospitality in our world has become a marketable product. We have magazines that will tell you the proper way to set your table. the way to stack the food so that it's visually appealing. And all of those can be good things and can make for a joyful time. But it's the heart behind that that really matters. You may just stack food up in a nice fashion so that you can take pictures and get clicks. Or so that everybody will talk about you or me. What a fantastic dish they made for the supper. But hospitality, when we practice it in the name of Christ, is something that will leave people talking about the way that God has interacted with them in that situation, in that moment. It's not meant to be a tool that we use, like, we offer hospitality and now you have to say a prayer or you have to sit through a sermon. I don't think forcing people to sit through sermons necessarily qualifies as hospitality. But the presence, the love that is shown in the way you care for people when you offer so much as a cup of cold water, that's what points to the love of God. That's the whole expression. Actions speak louder than words. Hospitality for us is a mindset. It's an orientation. We are oriented to welcoming people in, to caring for them, to showing God's love through our lives. A cup of cold water is enough to show more hospitality